Good morning. My name's Bianca and I head up the team here at Community Courtyard, and I'm actually in the yard, so let me just show you around a little bit. You can see there's Sophia in the background, Zachariah getting ready for Dungeons and Dragons this afternoon. I think Kath is in the kitchen and Laurel was hiding behind Sophia. There they are. Little waving, perfect. And this morning at the yard, we've got Make, Do and Mend, which is where you can bring your clothes in, you can upcycle them, or you can just learn about sewing and mending things. So it's really quite cool. And it's part of our summer program. So we have young people dropping in, doing that from now until 2:30. This afternoon, though, we've got Dungeons and Dragons, which is really quite exciting. And this evening, we've got story time online with myself. I'm taking over from Georgia, who was reading Six of Crows. So you've got me reading that this afternoon, or this evening at 7:00, I think it is. And normally, Teen Toast ends with that stuff, doesn't it? Steve normally starts off with like all the news and then ends with what we're doing. But I've started it the other way around. So Steve is out today, so apologies that you haven't got him. And you've just got me with my cup of positivity. And so I just wanted to check in with everybody and go, how are you doing? How was your weekend? Did you get a chance to put your feet up? Or was you busy like a mad hatter? Did you get hit by all of the mad rain and hail? It's been a really kind of mad Friday night. And then it kind of luckily calmed down a little bit. We were just talking here about the Olympics. Have any of you been watching the Olympics? I heard that some people at the yard, they were really impressed with the BMXers. So have you got a favourite sport you've been watching on the Olympics? Have you been particularly impressed? I know that over the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about some of the controversy within the Olympics. But I have to admit, I know this won't surprise many of you, not such a big Olympics fan at my end. More of a, oh, that's nice. But it is really good when you see things like skateboarding, because obviously here in Northampton, we've got Radlands, haven't we, down Beckett's Park. And before it was at Beckett's Park, it was kind of Kingsford Way. So we've always had lots of skateboarders in Northampton and BMXers. So I bet a lot of them are watching. Has it made you want to go and try some of the tricks? Have any of you had an injury because you're trying to practice or learn some of the things that you've seen on telly? Maybe you'll see some of our detached workers have a wander down there this week and see what kind of skills we can see young people getting up to. Just going to grab another swig of my cup of tea. So, Steve likes to give us 2 or 3 news things to have a think about. So I was having a look at things that might be interesting. And one of the things that I was learning today is that people who've been trying to get mortgages have been really struggling, because if you were furloughed, even though for the first part of the pandemic, you got all of your wages, it kind of changed, didn't it? So you only got 80% at some point, and then it went down even further. So even though you've had a job and you're still in the job, lots of people have thought they were able to get their mortgage, but when it comes to the crutch, that actually banks have stopped them from doing so. And I guess that reminded me of some of the conversations that we've had here over the years, which is around how annoying it is that as people who rent is really, really expensive. Yeah, so I rent a place, so it's about £700-800. If I was to get a mortgage for that same house, I would imagine my mortgage would be more like £500. So clearly, I could afford it because I'm paying the rent. But something magic in the sky happens, and it means that the government and the banks say, no, you can't afford it, and you've got to stay renting. So are you a first-time kind of buyer? Would you like to buy your own house? Or do you think that you're never going to be able to buy your own house? And what do you think about renting? I think that one of the problems with renting in the UK at the moment is that we don't have long-term renting. So you can rent somewhere for maybe 1 year, 2 years, but it always has to be renewed. And then when you renew it, you have to, pay a fee, get the contract redone. There's always extra hidden money parts, isn't there? But you have to kind of sneak off with. So it kind of really frustrates me. But it just feels like this whole thing is so corrupt and so difficult. I don't know how people can afford to do that, because whilst house prices are rising, we haven't seen our wages rising in the same way, have we? So, first topic of the day, housing, mortgages, money, renting. What do you think? Is it all a con? Are buildings really worth the amount that we pay for them? What do you think a reasonable amount should be for rent? So, obviously, in Northampton, you can get a reasonable property to rent. I don't know, for £600, £700, £800. Where in London, that wouldn't even get you a room, would it? So it's so difficult. Moving on. Let me show you. Northampton Music Festival. It's coming back. So the Northampton Music Festival is in its 13th year, and it was set up by a group of really passionate musicians. And they were more than passionate musicians, actually. They were people who just loved Northampton. So on Sunday, the 5th of September, in the town centre, there are going to be 6 stages, 600 musicians, 60 performances. And the music is something for everyone, from rock to opera, from indie to drum and bass. So this is going to be really fantastic. It's going to be like all around the town centre. And I suppose one of the things that's really good about it, if you can't make Sunday, the 5th of September, then there's going to be things every day that week. Also, the other fantastic thing, which I didn't know, I've only just got the leaflet, is that it's actually a project that has been funded externally, so it shouldn't cost us any money to go and see it, apart from, depending on the venues, we'd want to try and support local venues as we go. So the Northampton Music Festival is supported from WNC and the BID, so West Northamptonshire Council, and the Business and Development team. So you might have seen the BID as a word, but maybe you don't know what that is. So here at the Yard, we're part of the BID. The BID is an area in Northampton Town Centre where all the businesses pay what's called a levy. And within that levy, we try to showcase the businesses and kind of make Northampton a brilliant place. So, like during the pandemic, we've always been talking about build back better. That's something that the BID is always trying to do. It's trying to look at how we can build Northampton, celebrate its fantastic culture, but also link up some of the really brilliant businesses that there are around Northamptonshire. Have you got a favourite spot in Northampton, a shop that you think to yourself, I must pop in there? I know lots of people love St Giles's Cheese Shop. So I know that Steve Ward and his wife there do a fantastic job. But we've got some brilliant cafes now, haven't we? From Matchbox to Yellow Bourbon. We've got some fantastic places. And then it seems to me as if what's happening at the moment is people are looking at how they can make Northampton a little bit quirkier, a little bit more fun. So if you know of any bands that are going to play in this, let us know. I think I'll have a chat with some of the staff here at Community Courtyard and see what we can do during that week. Maybe we can have a musical theme to the work that we do and actually have like an open mic night or something for young people and then one for their families. So if you're up for doing something musical, that would be pretty awesome. I like that idea completely. And then I'm just having a look because I saw my phone beep. Team GB have just won their 11th gold at Tokyo. So we're doing pretty well in that, aren't we? The other thing to let you know is it's the start of summer holidays. I know you felt like that might have happened last week, but in terms of youth and community organisations, for the month of August, we have all got lots of stuff that young people can get involved with. And if your young person was somebody who had free school dinners or has special educational needs, you can actually access some of the stuff that we're all organising for free. You would have had a barcode, but you can kind of scan in and have a look at the wide range of programmes that are happening in Northampton. So if you look at, and I'm going to put it on the the thread here so you can see it. It's called playways.com. I should just write it now for you. Slowly, because my multitasking is not as good as it used to be. So www.playways.com. And so if you go onto this website, which you can now see, www.playways.com, and you look for Community Courtyard or Free to Talk or one of the other organisations that are in Northampton, you're going to be able to see what our programme is for the next 4 weeks and how your young people can access it and get involved. Some of the things that we're doing here, so we've obviously got story time, we've got Make Do and Mend, we've got Dungeons and Dragons, but we've also got, on a Wednesday, all of the arts, crafting for everybody. After that, on a Thursday, we've got all of the sports. So from your kind of traditional rounders football to proper boot camps. So we've got the nets where you crawl under and doing all of those kind of proper hardcore stuff with Luke. And then Friday is all about the board games and magazine making. So there is something for everyone. And don't forget also, for the rest of this month, we have Apocalypto, which is a social action project run by Tamsin. So you may well want to get involved in that and see how you can create some social change in Northampton. So I think they're doing things from like chalk arting, making T-shirts with particular slogans. It's just been pretty awesome. Doing some podcasting. Cool. I feel like I've rambled on quite a lot and quite quickly. So I'm just going to have a pause for a moment because that's what Mondays are all about, aren't they? They're getting us ready for the rest of the week. So I'm just going to think to myself, what else do I want to have a chit chat with you all about this morning? One of them is around our emotional well-being. I'm sure that you see on our social media that like we have Wellbeing Wednesdays where we reflect and we think about how we can do things better for each other. But sometimes for young people who've had a lot of structure with schools, coming out of that structured time can make them feel quite anxious. If that's you and you're feeling quite anxious or worried or got that kind of head filled with all the words and all the kind of craziness that goes on with life, I'm going to give you a couple of top tips. One of them is remember to pause. And breathe. So in through your nose and out through your mouth. Holding that. So you're controlling your breathing so you can help yourselves feel more in control of your words and of your life and of your emotions. When you are feeling particularly uncomfortable, remember your 5 senses. What can I see? What can I touch? What can I feel? What can I taste? Try to reground yourself. If you're somebody who is near grass, take off your shoes and your socks and go and stand on the grass. Yeah? If you've got a watering can, it's really good to put a little bit of water on the grass and do some squelching. That squelching and touching the grass will helpfully make you feel a lot more positive and relaxed. Did you have your breakfast today? So it's really important to start off the day with some positive food. If you haven't got anything in your house or there's nothing you fancy, don't forget that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, you can come and have breakfast with us. You can have some cereal, some toast, a cup of tea or coffee. But it sets your day up in a really good way when we sit together, eat together, and have a natter. I think we've even got some porridge here for those porridge lovers. All of the breakfasts. So remember, think about your breathing, think about your 5 senses, and think about what you put into your body. Young people often come here with big cans of Monster. I can hear some giggling in the background now. Monster might taste fab, but it's probably not anything you should be drinking before lunchtime, she says, scanning the room. And it's definitely something that we shouldn't be drinking a lot of. If you are somebody who suffers from emotional ill health, then drinking big cans of Monsters, more than 2 of them, can significantly impact the negative feelings that you're feeling. So, if you have been struggling at all, don't forget that today there's the Crisis Cafe at the Lowdown, and it's actually at the Lowdown. So, if you know where we are, 62 Gold Street, you walk past us, and then you turn right down Kingswell Street. You can't miss them. Doorbell, and there will be somebody who you can chat to today if you're feeling at a point of crisis. Remember that it's not okay to be suffering alone. You shouldn't be suffering, and it's definitely something that people can do to help you. So if you're worried about going there on your own, then do drop in here, and we're happy to go with you. But don't be suffering on your own just because it's the summer holidays and your normal support network may not be there. So, I want to leave you with a couple of things that have been happening in the news and maybe it's worth checking about. Yeah, see what you think. So let me just have a look. I had 2 good ones. Where am I? Tyrone Ming, he revealed that his mental health plummeted during the Euros and he got therapy. Do you know anyone who got therapy? Did it help them? Is it easy to get therapy? Do you know where you'd go if you were in Northampton to get some help? Any ideas? Message us below, but we'll be giving you some more information about that as we go along. There's been a man and a woman and a teen arrested for murder after a boy was found dead in a river. Do you think that there's more violence today than there was 5 years ago, 10 years ago? Do you feel safe in Northampton? If not, why not? And if you do feel safe, what helps you feel safe? We're going to be having, come September, what we're going to call roundtable discussions along lots of things like this. So if you've got a question that you'd really like answering with some of the experts and some of the community, give us a shout. Right, I think I've had a natter long enough. I think you've heard me yabba yabba on. I hope you all have a really lovely day. Don't forget, you can catch Steve online gaming as Steve-O the Outlaw. Do give him a follow on all of the social media platforms. And do check us out on Twitch TV, where you'll be able to see him. Wednesday and Friday, he will be back for more tea and toast. I'm sure he'll be joined by some really cool people. If not, you've got me. And tomorrow is all about languages. So if you're somebody who would like to learn English as a second language, pop on down to the yard. We will have a class for you. Right, I'm going to get on with my cup of tea and do some sewing. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.